Stop studying. What you are doing right now might be a waste of time. Reading over your notes, reviewing your class materials, highlighting things, repetition, repetition, repetition. These study techniques have been drilled into you for years. But then, science is very clear. Certain study techniques are more beneficial than the others. So instead of you spending hours and hours trying to find the right answers, we've done the work for you. So in today's video, you are going to learn two things. And the first one is how our memory works. And the second thing is the hidden secret inside the mind of a smart student which makes him or her to study effectively in less time than anyone else. So let's get started. Did you know that there are people out there so good at remembering things that they compete in tournaments of learning and they are known as memory affiliates? I knew a contest called the World Memory Championship. They are given 20 minutes to remember a list of 72 random words, and on the average, they scored nearly 71 out of 72. And another example is a man called Akira Haraguchi. At 69 years, much older than most of you listening, in 2006, he recited 111,700 digits of pi from memory. The number looks like this. A public event near Tokyo for 16 hours, he kept on going and going and going, reciting those numbers from memory. A very recent memory affiliate is another man called Nishant Butler. He memorized a number consisting of 1,944 digits. He also memorized a deck of cards under 2 minutes. And also, he broke the World Guinness record in memorizing the longest sequence of colors. Imagine the power of having a memory like that. And starting today, I want you to imagine yourself as one of them. You are not just a student. You are not just a regular graduate, but you are a memory affiliate. You are going to become someone with such power over your mind that you could recall pages of notes, equations, formulas that you need without an endless hours of beating information into your heads. But how? Do you need an innate gift? Can you learn it? But actually you already have. Picture where the spoons are kept in your kitchen, the socks in your room, the color of your toothbrush. These memory affiliates use an ancient Greek technique called the memory palace. And once you've mastered this technique, you are going to dramatically improve the ability to study effectively and finally open up your innate gift of memory. Now, talking about memory, how do you think it works? There are two main parts of memory in everyone. Whether you're a dullard or you're a brilliant person. One is the short-term memory. You have that. And the second one is called the long-term memory. You also have that. But what are you doing with these two things? Recent research discovered that long-term memory is the seat of understanding. It stores not just facts, but also complex concepts or topics. And since we know that, then the question is, how do we pick books into it? How do we transfer our notes, our equations, our formulas into the long-term memory? How do we store information into it? It is pretty simple, but there is a problem. As information attempts to move into your long-term memory, there is a box called short-term memory. It acts like a bouncer to determine what goes into your long-term memory. Since we have a bouncer, then we will need a ticket. And what is the ticket for allowing information into the long-term memory? To know that ticket, you have to know the bouncer himself, which is short-term memory. The short-term memory is also called the working memory. Working memory has 2 to 4 slots where we process information. It acts as a narrow passage for what we learn. The problem is that what we hold there can quickly vanish and disappear and totally be forgotten if we don't keep thinking about them or rehearsing about them in our heads. And note those words: keep thinking and rehearse. That goes with the input and the output method we talked about in the previous class. One input should be equal to 3 outputs. If we don't do this, the information will never get sent to the long-term memory. They will just disappear into thin air. Unfortunately, our current world of technology and also the school system makes this process challenging. We are blasted with new informations at the speed of lightning. New notes weeks to the exam, sometimes days to the exam we receive new notes, and this doesn't really help our memories. Once we surpass these 2 to 4 slots in our short-term memory, once we overload with information, we begin to get distracted, and our ability to process and retain information begin to reduce. I'm sure that today you've all scrolled through your Facebook and I've seen a lot of posts. But can you list the topics of 10 posts offhand in 1 minute? I doubt that. That's because these posts, one by one, jumped into your short-term memory, and after the first 4 posts, the next 4 posts replaced them, and the next, and the next, and the next. So very little of it makes it into the long-term memory. Since this information overload affects our ability to remember things, so how do we solve this problem? The best way to solve it is through concentration and recalling, which is strictly output. So concentrate on little inputs and more outputs, which means reading and recalling respectively. Do not switch needlessly. This causes overload, and when your brain is set to focus on just one thing at a time. So once you focus on a single thing and keeps on thinking about it, then you will realize you've put that book in your mind, so you can carry it wherever you go. And these reasons are why you should become more of output person than input. Focus more on the output. Try recalling, try thinking about it. Focus on the quality of what you read and not the quantity. And to focus on the quality, you must be paying a very good attention. But the problem is when people are learning these days, what do? They do multitasking. Because of what? Because of the devices that you are holding right now. Phones, laptops, iPads. People do multitasking. Just imagine when you are reading a book, when you are watching an educational video, when you are thinking about your life, you have your phone nearby. And while you are reading, while you are learning, while you are understanding, and the phone message goes off, the notification goes off, what do? Of course you attempt to eat. And once you attempt to eat, what happened? What you just did, you killed your momentum. You messed up the memory system. You messed up the movement of the information from the short-term memory into the long-term memory. You messed up the quality of input. And you know what? The quality of input determines the quality of output and retention. How well and how long you can remember information also affect the quality of recall. And that is the reason why my suggestion is, if you are learning something, at least for that time you are learning, you should not be doing multitasking, but the exact opposite of it, which is single tasking. Do one thing at a time. Stay away from distraction. Pay 100% attention, and then you will be well on your way to mastery. It is so easier said than done, right? You need not to worry. That's exactly what I'll be teaching you next. The secret tips to focus on your study. Secret tips like the Pomodoro technique and the Zeigarnik effect. And that is one of the core things that you are going to learn in this tutorial. So, you are just getting started right now. But for now, I'm signing out. Hi guys.